Hi there. I wanted to make this video for those of you who are interested in going through a Kundalini class, having the basics and the fundamental elements really broken apart and explained. And a lot of times with Kundalini Yoga, you can kind of learn by being thrown into the deep end and figuring it out as you go. And I know I practiced Kundalini that way for quite a while, and that's certainly one way of doing it. But I also really see the benefit in slowing down and going through what we're doing in a typical class, why we're doing it, its purpose, and having that understanding as you move through, I think can bring you into a more intimate relationship with your practice, with your body, with your needs and intentions for the practice. So that's what we're going to be doing in this class. And to begin, real briefly, what even is Kundalini Yoga? Kundalini Yoga is working with something we call Kundalini energy, which exists inside of us, typically dormant, unactivated, and through various methods, we can support the activation of Kundalini energy, which is said to travel up the spine, through the third eye, to the crown, where it activates, leading to enlightenment, expanded consciousness, a lot of lofty spiritual goals, you could say. Toning that down a bit, what this actually means for an everyday practice is you're working with the energy of your body, of your mind, of your whole system. Our energetic system is also what we work with when you do Qigong or acupuncture or Reiki. These other energy-based healing methods that are influencing our body and our brain by modifying the energy within. And so what you'll find in a Kundalini class, and as we go through this class, you'll be experiencing a little bit of all of this. You'll find movement, pranayama, breath work, mudra, which are symbolic hand gestures, mantra, meditation, chanting, these really powerful tools that come together in a way that amplify the effects of one another. And when these are combined together, this is often what we call a Kriya. So let's get started. And I'll leave in the notes of this video the major parts broken up. So if you want to fast forward and just go to a certain element, feel free to do that. So to get started, we're gonna set the space. And as you can see, I have a blanket down, and you'll find this in Kundalini, which I love. We're not practicing on a yoga mat typically. We're practicing on a comfortable, cozy surface. And, I actually do a lot of Kundalini in bed as well. For me as a teacher, I think that feeling safe and comfortable and like this practice is really holding you is really, really important. So set your space up, make yourself comfortable. Might want a little cushion to sit on. And then I wanted to speak real quick about what you'll also find in Kundalini, which is probably pretty noticeable, which is the wearing of a white turban or white clothing. And there's a lot of different explanations for this. A lot of people feel differently about it, so I'll just speak to my own interpretation. It distinguishes the practice for me. It sets the stage to where I'm showing up to this practice putting on clothing that is specifically reserved for this practice is helping me through that act treat this practice with respect, with reverence, treat myself with respect. Also, if you're someone very sensitive to energy, you might find that covering your head helps protect your energy, both incoming energy that you might not want to be picking up on, and also your own energy spreading out. It feels like it contains that in. And there's a lot more to be said about that, but for now, I'll just leave it there. And all right, so we've got our space, and we're gonna move now into our practice. So to do that, we are going to start with our tune-in. And I'm going to put this on the screen. You can see the words here. We're going to start with what's called the Adi mantra. And the Adi mantra, we're going to place our hands in prayer center. Come into a seated position. Close your eyes and gaze at the third eye center. This is between your brow point. It was a lot of talking that we just did. So we're going to start to settle our mind, transition out of the linear, logical thinking into our body space. And a beautiful way to establish that is through these tuning in mantras. The Adi mantra is said to be opening us up to our channel. You can think of it as it's opening you up to your own wisdom, your higher self, your guides, your connection with God, setting the stage here for wisdom to flow through. Opening up your awareness to the wisdom and support, the love, the guidance that always surrounds you. It's like we're turning on our antenna for this through this mantra. So we chant this mantra typically 3 times. We're going to do this just once right now. So to begin, take an inhalation. Om Namo Gurudeva Namo. Release the breath. Sit in this silence for a moment, keeping your hands in prayer pose. We're going to move right into our second mantra of our tune-in, which is called the protection mantra. Again, you can read along those words on the screen. Inhale to begin. Release the breath, release the mantra, release your hands now down to your knees and sit for a moment and feel the ways that has shifted things. Probably very subtly. But can you notice you might be able to hear the sounds around you a little more crisply? might be able to feel your body a little more than you were able to before. Good. Go ahead and open your eyes, and we're going to move into our warm-ups now. And warm-ups in Kundalini Yoga typically work to loosen and open up the spine so that energy can move through the channels up along our spine more easily. From more of a kind of neuroscience perspective, you can see these warm-ups as starting to activate our brain-body connection, our sensory and our motor neuron connections. So we're bringing awareness into the body, we're moving our body while we're being mindful, and all of that communication along our spine is waking up. During our warm-ups, we will do something at the end, which is called applying the lock. You'll hear me say, apply your locks. What this is referring to, this is called the Bhandas. The Bhandas are when we clench certain locks up along our spine, the main ones being at the root, so in the sex organs, in our navel center, up in our throat, tucking the chin back, and putting the tongue on the roof of the mouth while we gaze at the third eye. So I know that sounds like a lot, and it kind of is. It takes some practice to do all of those in a very natural way. But I wanted to point that out because this is a really important part. It's subtle, right? You can't see the locks happening. It's a very internal process. But what's happening here is we're directing the energy. You can kind of think of this like internal acupuncture. We're communicating to our body, hey, wake up here. Hey, come up here. Hey, activate here. Hey, look here. It's this internal messaging to our body that's not working with our major muscles. It's working deep with the subtle muscles along our spine we don't normally use. So again, I'll guide us through this after our warm-ups. And there's one other element that you'll find in Kundalini a lot, specifically in our warm-ups. When we finish a warm-up, we also do a breath retention. And this is where we inhale and then we hold at the top where we apply those locks, like I just walked us through. And so when we're holding our breath at the top, over time, this helps to build lung capacity. This helps in a more energetic level. We're building our capacity to hold prana. We're taking in a lot of prana and we're holding it. And in a nervous system level, we're actually strengthening our nervous system's capacity. Holding the breath at the top activates our sympathetic nervous system, which seems counterintuitive to the practice of yoga. But by doing this in a controlled, gentle way, over time, we're training our body to be able to mount a stress response, be able to tolerate this, and then come out of it. So to begin, we're going to move into our warm-up series. We're going to come into shoulder twists, and I moved here onto my knees here. This is called rock pose. You can move into this position and place your hands on your shoulders, fingertips in front, thumbs behind, arms parallel to the ground. And we're going to inhale to the left and exhale to the right. And we're going to do this in and out through the nose. And keep going here. And as you're moving in this way, the breath is short, it's a little bit forceful, but it's controlled. And so at any point, if you find your breath getting outside of your window of control, where it feels a little too big, a little too fast, just slow it down. We're just getting into our bodies here, so the most important thing is to be really mindful of every part of the movement, every part of the breath. Good. To finish, come to center and inhale. And we're going to hold at the top. We're going to apply our locks just like we talked through. So gently squeezing in the sex organs, gently pulling in the navel, the belly button to the spine, tucking the chin back, gazing at the third eye, tongue to the roof of the mouth. Do you feel these all engaged? And slowly exhale, bringing the hands down, keeping the eyes closed, and letting your breath return to normal, letting all of the locks release. As we move along, this will become more and more natural. You'll find that at the end of each warm-up, you're ready to do the breath retention, do the locks. So on that note, we're going to move into our next warm-up, which is cat-cow. So coming onto all fours, the wrists are under the elbows, the knees are under the hips, and we're going to inhale, tilting the spine up, gazing up, and exhale, curling the spine, tucking the tailbone under on your exhale. Again, inhale and exhale in and out through the nose here at a pace that feels good for you. Good. On the next inhale, tilt the spine and the head up. Hold at the top of the inhale. Apply your locks. It's a little more challenging to do that here, but just do your best. Hold. And exhale, release down into child's pose. Good. When you're ready, you can meet me back up in rock pose. Again, this is where we're sitting on our heels. And we're going to do one more warm-up that works with activating the spine, and this is called seated spinal flexes. So with the hands on the knees, we're going to, it's sort of like a seated cat-cow. So we're going to inhale, arching the spine, and exhale, curling the spine. And as you can see, my head stays parallel to the ground. I'm not moving my neck. This is happening in the lower spine and the pelvic area. So again, in and out through the nose. Inhale, exhale. Good, we're gonna do just a couple more seconds of this. You can work at whatever pace feels good and maybe play around with it. How does it feel to move a little faster? Or if you are moving quite fast, how does it feel to really slow it down into the micro movements of this pose? Good. Now, come to center and we're going to do our breath retention. So inhale, apply your locks, your root lock, navel lock, neck, gaze third eye, hold at the top, locks are applied, and a slow exhale. Releasing the locks, releasing the breath. Sitting here and noticing the subtle effects of our practice so far. All right, so for our final warm-up part of our practice, we have to go over breath of fire because this is the fundamental Kundalini breath. So I've got to include it in here. A lot of warm-ups will be done either in the style of breathing we were just doing, or will be done with a breath called the breath of fire. And the breath of fire is such a beautiful breath. It is a fast, rhythmic breath, but it's actually really light. And what we're doing in breath of fire is we are gently pulling in the navel on our exhale, and the inhale is passive. So the inhale, you'll find, just completes itself. So the focus is on the exhale, and it's quick, like this. You can see that I'm doing this in and out of my nose. This will always be the case unless instructed otherwise. And my focus is on a slight pulling in of the belly on the exhale, and the inhale happens automatically. And you can tell the difference because if you try to do the inhale, it will look and sound like this. Let me see if I can do this. Do you hear that difference? It's big difference, and you won't be able to maintain that for very long. You'll start to feel dizzy and like you're hyperventilating, because you are. And another way you can practice this is with your mouth open. It's called puppy dog breathing. So breathing like a dog, and that can help you get into the habit of what we're doing here. See how my belly is moving with that? And then from there, close the mouth and mimic that breath with the nose. So let's practice this together in a pose called Ego Eradicator. So for Ego Eradicator, we're gonna extend the thumbs out and the fingertips curl in to touch the fleshy part of the finger pads. The arms extend out to 60 degrees and the shoulders are relaxed, like so. Shoulders relax, not up here, shoulders relax. And we're gonna do breath of fire in this position. And give it a go, keeping your focus at your belly on the exhale. And let's begin. Good. Keep going. Or you can do this breath a little bit slower. And the rhythm for that would sound like this. With the slower breath, careful not to accidentally start breathing in on the inhale. So believe it or not, sometimes doing this breath faster is easier for that reason. It eliminates the mistake of breathing too big. So no matter where you're at, we're gonna close by bringing the thumbs to touch overhead, fingertips extended. Inhale. Inhale at the top, apply your locks, gaze third eye, hold, and a slow exhale out. We're going to move into our rest, our Savasana, so make yourself comfortable, lying down on your blanket. Releasing the practice, whatever did or did not happen in this practice today. Coming onto your back, legs extended, arms extended. Feeling your breath return to its normal rhythm. Feeling how your body feels now after this practice. Perhaps it feels more energized. Perhaps it feels tired. Just allow your body to let it all go. And know that your practice here was working on levels conscious and unconscious, known and unknown, seen and unseen. Thank yourself for taking yourself through this practice and learning these elements. I promise that each time is going to feel more and more natural. Each time you do breath of fire, each time you work on the locks, you're building muscle memory, and your body will take you there. And even if you aren't doing them perfect, know that this is so much more, this practice is so much more than about perfecting a certain bandha or a certain pranayama. This is about your relationship with your soul here, and your relationship with your body, and your relationship with yourself. That's really what this is. Deeper relationship with self, more loving relationship with self, more honest relationship with self. The practice, the poses, the breathing is the medium through which we work towards that deeper relationship with self. So know that you gained exactly what you needed to gain in this for yourself. And continue here, resting, letting the practice integrate into your brain and body. Begin to bring more awareness to your body and reach your arms up overhead, stretching, and come into a Kundalini cat stretch where we're going to take in our right leg, pull it in. We're going to cross it over the left side of the body and we're going to twist to the right. Just hold here, breathing, twisting. Come back to center. Switch out the legs, left leg in. Twisting over the right side of the body, gazing to the left. Good, and coming back to center, hugging the knees in and rocking and rolling on your spine a couple times until you come up to seated. Good. So in Kundalini Yoga, it always used to surprise me that after Savasana we moved on to another meditation, and most yoga that's done. You're done after Savasana. So in Kundalini, often what you'll find in a class is we finish after Savasana with a meditation or a Kriya. And a Kriya, again, is just a term that speaks to a set. So a set is a combination of movement, breath, mantra often, mudra, and the Kriyas serve a certain function. They're Kriyas for pain, Kriyas for fear, Kriyas for the aura, thousands of Kriyas. But today we're going to do a fundamental, very core Kriya called the Sat Kriya. And just because it's fundamental does not diminish at all from its potency. In fact, that is why it is a fundamental Kriya, because it works on so many different levels of the body. This is a beautiful Kriya for activating the Kundalini, bringing the Kundalini up the spine, for strengthening the solar plexus and the navel center. It helps to harmonize the sexual energy in the body. The list goes on and on and on. So Sat Kriya is, we're going to do Venus lock with our fingers, so interlacing fingers, and then left thumb over right for women. And then we are going to raise our hands up overhead like so. So fingertips up overhead, spine is straight, and we're sitting again on our heels here in rock pose, like this. And for Sat Kriya, we are going to repeat the mantra Sat Nam, Sat Nam, Sat Nam. And as we do this, we are pulling in the navel on Sat, Sat, and then relaxing on Nam. And the breath comes automatically. We're not inhaling or exhaling at any certain points. You'll find that the breath just regulates itself. Also, we're not moving the hands up or down. The hands just stay straight, and the movement is in the pulling in of the belly on Sat. So go ahead and come into rock pose, interlace, left over right, pointer fingers extended up. Sorry, I don't think I said that part before. Pointer fingers extended up, arms up by the ears. Close your eyes, gaze third eye, and we will begin. Sat Nam, 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 Sat, Nam, Sat, Nam, Sat, Nam, Sat, Nam. Good. Inhale. Hold at the top, apply your locks. Gaze third eye, tongue roof of the mouth. Hold. And a slow exhale, releasing the locks, sweeping the arms down, around, through the auric field of the body. Coming to rest on your knees or on the ground. And just absorb the benefits of this Sat Kriya. Note, we will close out our practice, and to do that this is beautiful transition, we bring our hands to prayer pose and we recite 3 long Sat Nams, Sat being long and Nam, quick little Nam. So closing your eyes, inhaling to begin. Sat Nam, Sat Nam. But I hope that this video can be a useful reference for you to refer back to whenever you want a little slower and detailed explanation of what we're doing in our classes moving forward. Please leave any questions or comments that you have, and I look forward to any feedback. Thank you.